The 2020 Sugar Bowl is the sweetest bowl matchup this side of the college football championship. Number 5 Georgia and number 7 Baylor. A win tonight would place the name of Jake Fromm alongside the likes of Herschel Walker as Bulldog Sugar Bowl heroes. A victory for Matt Rule and quarterback Charlie Brewer would be Baylor's first Sugar Bowl win since the Bears' only appearance in 1957, and would cap one of the biggest turnarounds in college football history. The Bears and the Dogs under a crescent moon here in the Crescent City. A new day, a new year, and a chance to make some new Sugar Bowl memories. You are watching the All-State Sugar Bowl from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. A couple of 11-2 teams, Georgia and Baylor, the Bulldogs, the runners-up in the SEC. Baylor lost a heartbreaker for the Big 12 title in that championship game against Oklahoma. Noah Rauschenberg kicks off for Baylor. Demetrius Robertson deepest for Georgia. 5th meeting all time between these two. The previous 4 all played in Athens a long time ago, all of them won by Georgia. None of that means much right now. And it is a touchback to get this one started. And questions about whether or not their top running back, DeAndre Swift, will play. He comes out throwing to George Pickens, the freshman, their leading receiver, and a gain of 7. And they have been disruptive all season long. A school record 43 sacks. They have 30 takeaways, among the leaders in the country in that category. On 3rd and 3 from the pass, and on target for a first down. Pickens got just enough before he got upended by Jordan Williams. In this likely passing situation, James Cook comes in. Georgia has replaced both of its starting offensive tackles, 2 standouts, Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wilson, both opted not to play to prepare for the NFL draft. Fromm's throw way too high in the direction of George Pickens. Jamison Houston in coverage for Baylor, and after picking up 1 first down, the Bulldogs will punt. Baylor on offense for the first time, led by the junior from Austin, Texas, Charlie Brewer. We mentioned he's climbed the ranks in many offensive categories. Baylor top 4 in total offense, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. Facing Robert Griffin III in a lot of those categories. The Heisman Trophy winner. Tough run right out of the gate for John Lovett. They rotate in 3 running backs. Lewis Seen, a freshman safety, made the tackle.
Nice block by Rob Solin, the tight end. Guy who plays also on the defensive line some. They ran to that power side into the boundary. This is a Georgia defense coming in, only giving up an average of 2.7 yards per rush. One of the best run defenses in college football.
That number is 2nd best in the country. Only Penn State giving up fewer yards per rush. John Lovett has the first down. Well, we mentioned the depletions to the Georgia roster for a variety of reasons. Injuries, preparation for the NFL, suspension, some of them undisclosed reasons. The coaches think it's a bigger deal on offense than defense, but playing without Tyler Clark and J.R. Reed, those are 2 all-conference players.
Yeah, those are 2 outstanding players. And in the case of J.R. Reed, a great communicator on the back end of the defense.
Who had started 42 straight games. Short pass by Brewer, and then swung down is Lovett by the leading tackler for the Georgia Bulldogs, Monty Rice, junior out of Huntsville, Alabama. Only cleared to practice right before Christmas, but he said he feels fine. He's ready to go. He's on target there. Treston Ebner. Their running backs are good receivers, and they throw to the backs a lot. He came up about a yard short of the first down. The players who aren't here for Georgia, Todd, is really on the offense, particularly the 2 excellent offensive tackles in Andrew Thomas, who won the Jacobs Blocking Trophy as the best offensive lineman in the SEC, and Isaiah Wilson. Each decided not to come here to get ready for the NFL.
And then the question of DeAndre Swift. He's not on that list, but he is certainly a factor. And for the 2nd possession, they've got James Cook out there again. Swift, Kirby Smart told us he's medically cleared. It's up to him whether he wants to play.
Here is James Cook, the brother of Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings, and he got leveled by Chris Miller.
Well, Chris Miller is one of the safeties. Here he is right here. He is going to make a beeline, perfect angle to the football. Once he reads the play, and really a nice job by Blake Lynch, number 2, turning the play back inside so the safety could clean up and make the play.
Goes back to what you were saying, Todd, about what Kirby Smart said about Baylor. They out-hit you, they out-hustle you, and he wants his team to match that. From way off, intended for Tyler Simmons. It's a passing game that is just completely out of sync. From under 50% passing for Coach Smart in each of the last 5 games, and it just looks like a group that is totally on separate pages.
Yeah, it really does. And even though they've had extra time in the bowl prep to build that chemistry and work on it, you can still see early on there's not a lot of trust that Jake Fromm has in this wide receiver group.
He's still the most accurate passer in Georgia history, but that number has been coming down. They go to the ground on 3rd down and 11, and James Cook stopped by Bravion Roy, the senior from Spring, Texas. Big number 99, another one of the better defensive linemen in the country.
He's very athletic, was an outstanding basketball player in high school too. That's what he credits his footwork to. He's not a guy that's just content to plug the run. He also can pressure the quarterback. And these are 2 outstanding defensive football teams, and if you get 3rd down and 7 or more against either one of them, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah, get ready to punt. Camarda, low kick. This one's returnable. Braylon Arnold out of bounds, so the field position battle starting to tilt in Baylor's favor as the Bears will begin at their own 45-yard line. Told that he's had 3 concussions. We asked him yesterday, with all the attention on head injuries in football, are you concerned? He said no, not at all. John Lovett, nice cut across midfield for 6-yard gain, dragged down by Tay Crowder, the senior playing in his final game. Had a terrific career for Georgia, one of the 12 semifinalists for the Butkus Award as best linebacker in the country.
This guy right here, Denzel Mims, is a guy they've got to get going early in the football game. He was shut out in the Big 12 championship game, and he is their marquee guy.
On target, Brewer was a little bit behind R.J. Sneed, but he reached back to make the catch for a 1st down to the Georgia 41.
A really nice job by Sneed in the slot, little quick slant. Did a nice job of catching that with his hands and getting the 1st down.
Brewer is an accurate thrower, 64% for his career, only RG3 better in Baylor history, and he's on target there, but it's broken up. Trying to get it to their leading receiver, Denzel Mims, and DJ Daniel knocked it away. There is a flag down, as you see, right by the pylon.
Pass interference. Defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage, automatic, 1st down.
I think what they're going to get DJ for is grabbing the arm of Denzel Mims at the end of this. Right there, he's got a hold of the arm, which alters his course and his ability to go for the football, and that's the call. And Mims is a guy that they have to get involved, and that was a good plan to throw the ball down the field to him early in this football game.
Coach Rule told us earlier this week that Mims has been playing the year with a fractured bone in his foot, which is remarkable since he's been so productive, with the exception of that Big 12 title game. Brewer slid down to avoid the hit. He stayed in bounds but lost yardage. Back to the 30-yard line, chased by Nakobe Dean.
And that kind of play is what really hurt them against Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. Their ineffectiveness on 1st down plays really put this offense behind the number, and they had 21 1st down plays against Oklahoma. 14 of them were for 0 or negative yardage, and they can't afford to do that against a team as good as Georgia on defense.
Over the middle, off the hands of Ebner, and intercepted by Richard LeCount. He's dragged down at the 26. First turnover of the game.
Timeout.
Malik Herring put pressure on Charlie Brewer. Still looked like the throw was catchable, at least looking at it live, Todd.
It was a little bit closer to the middle than Ebner wanted it to be, but it was an outstanding play by LeCount on the deflection. Back here at the Sugar Bowl, first turnover of the game. Ebner is going to run a little route here. Now he's open, but this pressure by Malik Herring is going to cause Charlie Brewer to throw this ball a little bit further towards the middle of the field than he wants. If he throws it right now, he has a completion. And what happened was Ebner took his eyes off the football and put his eyes on Tay Crowder. Didn't want to get hit there. It could have been caught, but it could have been a better throw as well. A little tempo for Georgia. They have not been a tempo team this year. Coley told us they might use more tempo.
High snap, and Fromm forced to go down on it back at the 12-yard line. So a huge mistake. The center, Trey Hill, is not one of the new offensive linemen. That shouldn't be an issue.
But that's when you have a guy like Bravion Roy playing right over your nose, who's so active and powerful, it gets your attention. It takes your focus off first things first, which is snap the football.
One of the concerns without Swift in the backfield is also pass protection. These younger backs not as adept as the veteran DeAndre Swift.
And not only DeAndre Swift, they don't have Brian Harrion, who's the other veteran back.
They run a draw on 3rd and long. James Cook tripped up at the 22. Bravion Roy again. Well, if Swift doesn't play, by our count, that'll be 12 Georgia Bulldogs who started at least 2 games this season who aren't going to play in this game tonight. That's a lot. Coach Smart and the players also were way more focused than a year ago. But Kirby still had to answer a lot of questions this week about depletions to the roster. Don't think they're going to get shut out this year, even with as great as that Clemson defense is.
I don't think so. Should be a heck of a game.
Charlie Brewer on 2nd and 9. Another ball that looked like it might have been caught. Instead got deflected away, intended for Denzel Mims.
Georgia's going to play a lot of tight coverage. They like to put their hands on people. There's the hit by the safety, Lewis Seen, that knocks the ball out. The ball's knocked out well by Eric Stokes, the corner. The hit by Seen was after the ball was out. It was a clean hit, but it did shake up Denzel Mims a little bit. And that's 2 targets now, and he has not caught a ball yet. But that one was good coverage by Eric Stokes.
Playing in his last game. Senior, been through so much. 18 seniors playing their final game. They played for 3 coaches, Art Briles, Jim Grove, who's one of the unsung heroes of Baylor football. Matt Groves, the athletic director, has said that. He came in for 1 year to help stabilize the program. And then Matt Rule, who was an inspired hire when he came from Temple, 1-11 in his first year, 7-6 last year, 11-2 this season. First Power 5 team to go from 11 losses to 11 wins within 2 years. Nice throw by Brewer. That's Tyquan Thornton with a first down out to the 43-yard line. They're still checking on Mims on the Baylor side.
Really good read by Charlie Brewer. That was a full-out blitz by Georgia, single coverage, and he went to the off coverage. DJ Daniel was playing off. He got the completion.
Quick pop to R.J. Sneed, and then he got popped and driven back. Mark Webb, one of the defensive backs, leading the way. We asked Kirby Smart yesterday, is this the best defense you've had your 4 years at Georgia? He said, well, statistically it is. We don't have the dominant household name individual player or two, but as a group, this squad has played very well.
And they play so many people. I mean, they typically will play 20 to 22 guys in a game. They have different roles for so many different players. Mass substitutions, particularly on 3rd down.
Now on 2nd and 10. 4-man rush, and the pass incomplete, intended for Tyquan Thornton. Georgia giving up just 12.5 points per game for Dan Lanning, the young defensive coordinator, just 33 years old. Only Clemson is better at scoring defense this year.
Kind of interesting, both of the defensive coordinators in our game, Dan Lanning and Phil Snow of Baylor, both Royals Award finalists. Of course, the award was won by Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator at LSU, or co-offensive coordinator.
That's for the top assistant coach in the country. There were 5 finalists. Denzel Mims back on the field for Baylor. Brewer avoided the rush, now runs out of bounds, flagged down back behind the line of scrimmage. near the center of the field. Devontae Wyatt put pressure on. He's one of those who'll get more playing time up front tonight in the absence of Tyler Clark. Jerry McGinn is the referee. It's a Big Ten officiating crew.
And Nakobe Dean was coming on a blitz from his linebacker position. I think the center, Sam Tecklenburg, is the guy that got caught with the hold.
We showed you Dan Lanning and obviously Kirby Smart, whose background is on defense, very actively involved in the calling of the defenses. He was a terrific defensive player.
Number 52. Penalties decline. 4th down.
It was on Tecklenburg, second team all-conference center.
And Georgia, when they get you to 3rd down, particularly 3rd and 7 or more, they just have so many creative ways to pressure the quarterback. They substitute a lot of different guys. It's very hard to get a read on some of their exotic pressures.
Tyler Simmons back for this punt from Isaac Power, redshirt freshman punter from Castle Rock, Colorado. And it's a touchback.
We'll find out.
He flips it back to Fromm, a flea flicker. They have a couple of men running deep, and it's George Pickens. A big play. Jamison Houston tackled him inside the 15-yard line.
Beautiful job by DeAndre Swift, not only making the pitch, but watch DeAndre Swift also, after he pitches the ball, pick up the blitzing linebacker Bernard, just enough to give Jake Fromm extra time to get that ball downfield.
There's Swift again. Then you wonder, Todd, if the effectiveness of that play was helped by the fact that it was Swift back there, and the Baylor defenders, aware that he's in the game, thinking they're going to give the ball to him on a running play with him in there.
Yeah.
He carried to the 12. They marked the ball back at the 15-yard line after the long pass play. 47 yards. Swift back on the sideline. It's Zamir White. He's a powerful runner at 215 pounds. Now on the left hip of Jake Fromm. They pressure Fromm. It's off to Pickens. And he's down at the 6-yard line. Braylon Arnold might have saved a touchdown. Georgia trying to pick up the tempo here on offense.
And very quickly with that long pass, Sean, they finally flipped the field.
3rd down to short 2. Zamir White stopped short of the line to make. James Lockhart, 3rd member of that terrific front three, along with Bravion Roy and James Lynch.
Well, beautiful job is a little twist on the inside. Lockhart lines up as the end, but watch him loop inside, and this little twist game gets him right into the backfield for the stop. They're a very active front, and their linebackers, even though they're not very big, they're very quick and very active.
Rodrigo Blankenship, Georgia's all-time leading scorer, won the Lou Groza Award as the best place kicker in the country this year. Mind you, Baylor's a very good kick-blocking team. They blocked 5 this year, with that one through the middle with no problem. It's a 24-yard field goal. And Georgia on the board first, unlike last year when they were sloppy early and trailed Texas 17-0.
It doesn't mean you have to be a control freak, but you have to have the right pieces in place, the right people around you that are your guys that you trust to make things work effectively.
You can understand why he'd be a candidate with the job that he's done. Charlie Brewer, deep ball, single coverage, but not on the same page at all with Chris Platt, who was running with Mark Webb in coverage.
Mark Webb was in perfect position coverage-wise. The ball was underthrown, didn't even have a chance for Chris Platt, but that would have had to been a perfect throw because Mark Webb, who's a converted wide receiver, kind of plays the nickel or star position, was in great shape.
Brewer in trouble. Finally gets rid of it, just throws it away. They've given up 35 sacks, Baylor. When I talked to a couple of the coaches today, they said one of the problems is Brewer frequently hangs on to the ball too long.
Yeah, and that can happen. I mean, and sometimes he moves. He's a guy who likes to do things with his legs, and sometimes they don't know where he is. If he's moving in the pocket, sometimes those offensive linemen aren't sure where their quarterback is. And so, yeah, sacks aren't always just a lineman getting beat by a defensive player. Got to be careful here, though. 3rd and 10 against this Georgia defense. Smart with the ball.
Four-man rush, and they get pressure on off the offense's left end. Denzel Mims made the catch. DJ Daniel made the tackle. Azeez Ojulari putting the pressure on.
Very much like when Kirby Smart was with Nick Saban at Alabama and the way they played defense. They contest every play. I mean, they don't want you to gain 1 ounce or 1 inch more than you catch the football. That's a couple times now where Baylor's completed a pass on 3rd down, but it's been short of the 1st down marker.
Isaac Power, good kick. Tyler Simmons, fair catch. That gets us to the end of the 1st quarter. Georgia leading 3-0. The Bulldogs will have the ball from their own 15-yard line when we come back to the All-State Sugar Bowl. Happy New Year from New Orleans. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe back in New Orleans heading to the 2nd quarter. Georgia leading 3-0 after a 52-yard punt by Isaac Power. The Dogs begin from the 15, and 1st down ends at the 14 as Kenny McIntosh, the true freshman, is dropped by Chidi Obanaya.
And that's a mistake on the offensive line because the tackle blocked down the tight end. There were 2 tight ends to the backside. One of them they both blocked out, and they let the defensive end just chase the play down. And so obviously a miscommunication. Again, they're playing with 2 new starters at tackle, also a new offensive line coach in Matt Luke.
Sam Pittman, who had been the line coach, left to become the head coach at Arkansas. Nice play there. Zamir White knocked down by Chris Miller. And there's Matt Luke, fired at Ole Miss after 3 years as the head coach at his alma mater. I think he got a raw deal myself. I know there's a lot of excitement against Lane Kiffin. But about Lane Kiffin. Jake Fromm, back shoulder throw on target there with George Pickens. But Matt Luke's a great hire. Kirby Smart snapped him up within 48 hours after Sam Pittman departed.
He's an excellent recruiter. He's an outstanding offensive line coach, and he's a really good person. So he's a really good addition for Kirby's staff.
There's Warren Erickson.
Yeah, the good thing for Erickson is he's in there with Trey Hill, the starting center, and Solomon Kinley, the starting guard, who are, he can kind of be protected a little bit more than Sawyer and Cade Mays, the 2 starting tackles. But right now you see they want to run the football and they want to throw it to George Pickens.
Zamir White, nice run. He's a fan favorite in Athens. Jake Fromm over the middle and almost intercepted by Jordan Williams. One play after whiffing on the tackle near the line of scrimmage. He couldn't come up with the interception, and he's upset with himself. Intended for the tight end, Charlie Werner.
Well, Charlie Werner prevented the interception. He knocks the ball out. He turned from receiver to defender immediately and knocked the ball out.
Number to number 6 for Georgia.
This Baylor defensive line, these 3, they stand up so much, so different.
Pickens really become their lead at wide receiver. Injuries to Lawrence Cager, to Dominic Blaylock. And it wasn't a group that was all that productive when they had everybody healthy.
But they had more options. We saw them against Tennessee earlier, and those guys were all healthy. It was a much different looking pass game.
Saw Lawrence Cager, big target, out with an ankle injury to the end of his career. He came over as a grad transfer from Miami. Kenny McIntosh for the 1st down.
Nice job by James Coley calling a formation that time to the field where they were able to outflank the Baylor defense. They snapped it quick. They had 2 tight ends and a receiver to that side. They got the ball out on the perimeter, and when we talked to Phil Snow, he thought some quick sweeps would be something Georgia would do because Oklahoma had success with those kind of plays against them in the Big 12 championship.
Pressure from Fromm's left. He throws for Pickens. He runs under it, catches it, and a touchdown for Georgia.
I mean, you know they're going to throw it to him. He's the only guy that they feel confident making contested catches. He's going against Jamison Houston, and a perfect drop in the bucket by Jake Fromm. Right over the outside shoulder. You can't throw it in a better spot. And even though Baylor knows the ball is going to Pickens in the air, he's already got 7 catches for 118 yards, and now a touchdown.
His 8th touchdown catch of the year to lead the Georgia Bulldogs. He only played a half of their SEC title game against LSU. Had to sit out the first half after he was ejected for fighting in their last regular season game against Georgia Tech. Rodrigo Blankenship the extra point. And Georgia now up 10-0 with 12.5 to go till halftime. Georgia fans making noise now. Jake Fromm has completed 7 passes. They've all been caught by George Pickens. 7 catches, matches his season and career high. He's a freshman. He had 7 in their loss to South Carolina, and the 118 yards receiving already a career high. He had the 46-yard catch on the flea flicker that set up their field goal that started the scoring tonight. So 10-0 Georgia. Scored more than 27 points in only one of their last 8 games. That's low by today's college football standards with the high-flying offenses. As you said, they play a lot of men on defense. Might not be quite as many tonight because some of their key players are absent. But it's a lot to keep track of. Tristan Ebner fights to the 30 before he's stopped by Monty Rice and Tay Crowder. We asked Dan Lanning, how do you keep track of all these substitution packages, who's going in and out? He said, we just have to practice it over and over again until it becomes a habit. Well,
and if you watch them, like on this second down play, they've already got their third down groups like close to Dan Lanning right now, so they can sub quick.
Bring some pressure, and Brewer.
See, here they come. That's, what's that, 5 guys they're subbing on third down. Obviously, distance dictates what group they want in, but they do. They practice it every day. They rep it. They script it that way in practice, so they're used to being ready to sub quickly.
Dan said we've only had too many men on the field twice this season, which is impressive. Of course, when you're a coach, it drives you crazy to have even 2, but given as much as they substitute. Brewer on third down hits his target off the head, it appeared, R.J. Sneed. There's a flag down.
You know what? I think they're going to get Blake Betier for he threw a punch at the end of this play. He was tied up with a pass rusher and took a shot at the guy.
After the play, personal foul, offense, number 56. It'll be 15-yard penalty. 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, I mean, it could have been worse, maybe. Watch the end of this play. Here it is right here. And at the very end, he just kind of takes a shot right to his head. And he's working on Nolan Smith, a freshman linebacker. That's clearly a penalty and not a smart one.
3-man rush. They don't get anywhere near Fromm, so it's Pickens with his 8th catch. And he scampers out of bounds with another Georgia first down to the 40-yard line. Georgia leading 10-0. They fake to McIntosh, and the throw to Tyler Simmons, and he couldn't break free of the tackle after a gain of 5. Graylin Arnold, excellent defensive back, second team all Big 12 this season.
We mentioned the last 5 games of the regular season, or actually 4 regular season in the SEC championship game, Jake Fromm was under 50% completion in all 5 of those games. Tonight, 9 of 12. He looks sharp, and he seems to be getting on a little better page with his receivers, especially George Pickens.
They flip it to Simmons, heading the other direction. Nice play call and well executed, and Simmons finally taken out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line.
Really nice job by the tight end, Charlie Werner. Watch Werner get out here and lead. A lot of times you bring that tight end in motion and he cuts off the backside end. This time he passes up the backside end and gets out on the safety. Gets the block on Graylin Arnold, and that perimeter run on the toss to the wide receiver Simmons has been a good play for them a couple times here already in the first half. Well, here's Pickens with tight coverage. No help.
Fromm surrounded, gets it off for Charlie Werner. He was covered by Henry Black, a Louisiana native, back in his home state, fifth-year senior out of Shreveport, who's been through the bad times and the good for the Baylor Bears. They're going to stick with the field goal unit. Baylor thinks it has a chance to block a field goal tonight. They don't get close to that one. Blankenship right down the middle again. Mentioned he has grandparents from Louisiana, some cousins here as well, and has a number of relatives in attendance here tonight.
Well, they're leading 13-0, but I really think that Jake Fromm, if he had this to do over again, he would have taken a shot with Pickens. Here he is. Watch the corner jump outside on his technique. As soon as that happens, Jake Fromm's got a good enough arm to stick this ball in right now to Pickens. The safety's not going to affect it. He turns to the other side and throws to a well-covered tight end, Charlie Werner. I think if you got a shot one-on-one with that big receiver Pickens, give him a chance to make the play.
Maybe he just felt like he needs to get somebody else involved. Pickens has 9 catches. The rest of the team has 1. Been a much easier start to the night for Uga than a year ago. We were here and Uga got locked up with Bevo, the Texas Longhorns mascot, and decided mismatch, at least from a weight and size standpoint.
And horns.
Wow, that looked like a hold in the middle of the offensive line. Brewer got it off. JaMychal Hasty out of bounds, 38-yard line, and there is a flag down. Somebody pressuring up the middle just got spun around.
I think they're going to get Xavier Newman-Johnson, the right guard.
Offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay, 3rd down.
Watch right in here. There's a blitz coming on the inside, and he's just going to instinctively grab and twist them all the way around, right to the ground. A very easy call, and it wipes out a 3rd down conversion. They had 3rd and short. They get the conversion. Now they're 3rd and extra long again. Right where Georgia wants you to be against them defensively.
Treston Ebner. Treston Ebner looks like he might have gotten it after a missed tackle, about 5 yards short of the line to make. It was Tyreek Stevenson who didn't get him on the ground, and DJ Daniel finally knocked him out of bounds, but it's a big first down for Baylor.
And that's a play that would drive Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart crazy. You let him catch it underneath and you make a tackle. There's the miss by, first the miss by Richard LeCount, and then Stevenson right behind it.
And now Brewer going deep, and it is incomplete, looking for Tyquan Thornton.
And Matt Rule's upset, and should be, because he got away with a grab of the jersey. He was beat on the play, and the defender grabbed the jersey to slow him down. That was DJ Daniel. Watch as he gets beat on the play. He's going to reach out and grab the jersey, actually the undershirt under the jersey, and that impedes the receiver from going to the football. That's got to be called.
And that's blatant. We've had 2 of those in as many games that we've done. I mean, the officials completely whiffed on what should have been a pass interference call against LSU in the SEC title game. And I mean, that's right out there for everybody to see.
Especially when you see the shirt like pull all the way out from the body. I mean, it's obvious that it's a penalty.
Well, you mentioned it during the Big 12 title game. Matt's dad, Dennis Rule, is a minister, and he's on the sideline regularly. Remember, there's right behind Matt. Says, when I start to get a little saltier, my dad gets closer and closer. There he is.
Inching his way closer.
He said he doesn't always say something, he just lets me see him Well, I know to clean up my language. Now Brewer gets hit, got it off. Knees are down on the catch. Or actually a loss of about a half yard to the tight end, Christoph Henley from Innsbruck, Austria. This is the 11th trip to the Sugar Bowl for Georgia, and Pickens is the first Bulldog receiver to have 100+ yards receiving in a Sugar Bowl game. From on target, George Pickens tried to leap over Grayland Arnold as he approached, and it's another big gainer. And it must be a wonderful sight, Todd, for Jake Fromm to look out there and see open receivers.
Beautiful route. He really fooled Chris Miller. Miller was trying to give extra coverage, but that little in fake froze Chris Miller. And when he broke out, there was no help. And a beautiful route that time. Patience by Pickens.
So much of this season, it's been hard for Georgia to get receivers open. They feel like they have a very good recruiting class of receivers coming in for next year. Zamir White close to another first down, and Phil Snow, one of the real characters in coaching too. Just a fun guy to talk to, very interesting, passionate.
He was fired up for this game because he likes old school hard-nosed football, and he says that's what they play in the SEC, maybe a little bit more than what we see in the Big 12. He likes the challenge, but right now Georgia kind of having the better of it. The better of his defense. He tells his players Big 12 is soft. Just try to fire him up and get him mad a little bit. It's less soft this year, if it ever in fact was soft. Much better defense played in the Big 12 this year. Demetrius Robertson for another first down. These wide runs, I mean, they were not having success running inside. The wide runs have been much more effective, and it's really because the tight ends are blocking so well on the perimeter. That time, Eli Wolf, an outstanding block on the edge. You know, another person who's been criticized this year is Georgia has not been terrific on offense. James Coley, the offensive coordinator, he's done a very nice job with the play calling tonight. It's been a variety. And of course, when you have success as they complete again, the Pickens, Todd, doing some things, it opens up other things. When you're getting stuffed on every play, you can't set up other options in your playbook. There's James on the left. Well, as Kirby said, they had to overachieve with their wide receiver and skill positions this year. They had to do things creatively that they haven't had to do in years past because of the injury situation. Second down and 8, under 2 minutes to go in the half. Georgia leading 13-0. Fromm to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Matt Landers. See, this is that same technique by the corner that I talked about with Pickett. Watch the corner jump outside. He runs the post and the ball is right on him before the safety can get over there to help. It's the exact same route that he didn't take the shot to Pickens, and they settle for the field goal. This time he gives Landers a shot, and they come up with a touchdown, we think. Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be looked at in the replay booth. Did he complete the catch? Tom Fiedler is the replay official.
The ruling on the field was confirmed.
That didn't take long. DeAndre Swift in. They're going for 2 here in the first half. Fromm looked at Swift. Instead, throws an incomplete pass. Batted away by Grayland Arnold. The general direction of the tight end, Eli Wolf, the transfer from Tennessee. Georgia in control in the first half of the All-State Sugar Bowl. Brewer forced to pump a couple of times, completes it to Thornton. Stick around and help out those guys. Boy, heavy rush. Brewer spins away from it, throws back across the field to Hasty, who's to the 41. Boy, that was a hard-earned 5 yards for Baylor. They're down to 1:05 to go in the half. Well, you see the elusiveness of Charlie Brewer because it was a rush right away that he eludes. I know Denzel Mims has a injured foot, but he trotted back to the line of scrimmage when they're in hurry-up mode here, and now it's Adam Anderson with a sack of Brewer. It might be Georgia looking to call a timeout now, and it is. The Bulldogs use one with 44 seconds to go.
Georgia, they're second and a half. Be a 30-second charge timeout.
But he can do it, and he did it very effectively against Ohio State. So here's 3rd down and 9 for Baylor. Georgia with 1 timeout left. They can get a stop here. Brewer under duress, got it off. They get the stop of Tyquan Thornton, and Kirby Smart will use that last timeout. He feels like they have Baylor on the ropes. Wants to try to bury them here in the first half.
And Kirby was very emphatic with us saying, when we met with him, he says, look, everyone wants to talk about the guys who are not here, the guys who aren't playing. The guys who have been here and are playing, they have practiced really hard. We want to focus on those guys, and I want to see how our team is going to play. And I think he's happy with the answer that he has in the first 30 minutes.
Isaac Power. They don't have anybody back. That's one of the reasons why they got some pressure. It's an excellent punt. Down by the 3-yard line by Ross Matisic, the snapper. He's an excellent player. He's a backup middle linebacker. We saw him get into linebacker in the Big 12 championship game. 57-yard punt. And I would think now, Todd, with this field position, no timeouts left, 30 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Just take it to the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've dominated the first half. They've controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
165 yards receiving for Pickens. Baylor, as a team, 97 yards of offense. 11 catches for Pickens. The Sugar Bowl record is 14 by Josh Reed of LSU. And the yardage record is 239 by Josh Reed in the same game against Illinois in 2002. Pickens has 165. They give it to Zamir White. Boy, he's a tough runner.
Yeah.
Now will Baylor call timeouts? Apparently not. Wonder if it was a shorter gain or a no gain play. Matt Rule might have tried it, force a punt. But I think at this point he just wants to get in and regroup. Appreciative round of applause from the Georgia fans.
First half.
The freshman George Pickens, the star of the night. Our score at the half, Georgia 19, Baylor nothing. We'll send you to the Mazda halftime report right after these messages. Over the middle, off the hands of Ebner, and intercepted by Richard LeCounte. Splits it back to Fromm, a flea flicker. They have a couple of men running deep, and it's George Pickens. Fromm's left, he throws for Pickens. He runs under it, catches it, and a touchdown for Georgia. Fromm to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Matt Landers. First touchdown of Landers' career in a big first half for George Pickens. You're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Number 5 Georgia leading Baylor 19-0. The Sugar Bowl record for catches in a game is 14, but the Georgia record for catches in any bowl game is 12 by Hines Ward. And Pickens is one away from that. Rodrigo Blankenship.
A really slow night for Denzel Mims. No catches in the Big 12 championship. 1 for 8 yards tonight. Got a chance again.
And he's open deep, and Brewer's on target, and Mims hangs on inside the 35 of Georgia.
Well, that's exactly what Matt Rule told Holly. We got behind him in the first half. We've got to be more aggressive, see if we can take some shots down the field. And I just mentioned chunk plays. They've got to get some explosive plays. That's the first one in the ball game they've gotten.
40-yard play. Longest of the night by far for Baylor. As you alluded to, Todd, there's Josh Fleeks. Stopped after a short gain.
I think they've got 2 guys in Mims and also Tyquan Thornton that can run by people. And if Georgia wants to play tight coverage right up on you, that's what you have to do. You have to challenge them downfield.
Josh Fleeks. Nice action after the catch to get the first down. Got enough before Richard LeCounte and Eric Stokes could combine to stop him. Baylor's history, they've won a lot of close games. They have 5 fourth-quarter comebacks to win this season. That's the most in Power 5. So they know they can do it. And Kirby Smart's well aware of that history as well. Ebner changed direction. Hard to do against the fast defense. They collared him near the line of scrimmage. Lewis Seen, the freshman safety, got the start tonight. Corner pressed up on him, might have some help. Matter of fact, he came off him and blitzed. And they attack that blitz and convert on the quick pop to Mims. Well executed by Baylor. First down.
That requires a quarterback and wide receiver being on the same page. They both see the blitz, they know where the coverage is coming from and where the ball needs to be placed. And both guys were totally in sync on that third down conversion.
4 out of 5 on this drive for Brewer. He's already thrown 27 passes in the game. Early in the third quarter, a play fake for Mims again. Touchdown, Baylor. Well, Mims a non-factor in their Big 12 title game against Oklahoma. And not much of a factor in the first half tonight. Clearly, they made an effort to get him more involved on this drive.
Well, you can see his strength and his length. I mean, that's a lot of hand fighting with he and Eric Stokes. And if they're going to let him do that, you just have to be physical as a receiver and then go high point the football. And that's exactly what Denzel Mims did. Beautiful possession that time for Mims, their leading receiver.
John Mayers kicked the extra point. And a little life on the Baylor sideline as we start the second half. They're on the board. It's now 19-7 in favor of Georgia.
Again, they like Pickens into the boundary with that big body.
3-man rush. They haven't done much to threaten Fromm tonight. He throws incomplete. So a 3 and out. And Baylor will get the ball back with a little momentum. From the 33, still good field position. Play fake by Brewer, immediately in trouble, dumps it off. Josh Fleeks in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and whacked to the ground by Nolan Smith, the true freshman from Savannah.
We're going to get a penalty, though, a smack to the head by Malik Herring on the quarterback, Charlie Brewer. He got hit in the face, and this is going to get that yardage back from the penalty on the punt return.
Just a second Georgia
personal
penalty.
foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 10 with a blow to the head. The 15-yard penalty will be added onto will be from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
It's Malik Herring, and Charlie Brewer did a good job just to get rid of the football because it was immediate pressure. He gets rid of the ball, and there you see right at the end, the left hand hits Charlie Brewer right across the head, and that draws the flag. The pressure was from Nolan Smith immediately. It looked like he landed on the football on that first incomplete pass.
Brewer sets on target and dropped by Jamichael Hasty. Would have had a first down. Monty Rice, the linebacker there for Georgia.
It looks like he just took his eye off the football at the last minute, either thinking about turning upfield, wanting to see where the sideline was. Third down situation now, 4 of 10. Baylor is on third down. Actually, both teams 4 of 10 right now in the ball game.
Interesting formation here. A tight bunch to the right of Brewer. He brings Hasty back to his left hip. They'll try to get Mims singled up on the near sideline. He was. Brewer has a pocket, has a receiver, has a first down, or does he? The Georgia defender saying it's an incomplete pass, and it is.
Christoph Henley was the intended receiver, guarded by Mark Webb, and it's a good throw. You see Henley, a bigger target, working against a smaller Webb, but the ball gets ripped out. And that's just good physical, tough play by Mark Webb to get that football out.
But there's a long way to go in this game. I think Matt Roldo feels like we have momentum right now. Let's go for this on 4th down and 4. You like the action heating up. It was 19-0 Georgia at the half, but Baylor has scored, and Matt Rule leaves the offense on the field to go for it on 4th down and 4 from the Georgia 46.
This could actually be a quick kick also. Not ruling out that possibility either. Mims isolated on the bottom of the screen.
On DJ Daniel. They are going to run the play. Brewer belted from behind by Azeez Ojulari. They got the ball. It wouldn't have mattered. They took over on downs, but Javon Walker wound up with it for the fired-up defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning.
Ojulari just beat the left tackle, Connor Galvin. That was one-on-one. He's a speed rusher in a sprinter stance, and he just beats the left tackle to the quarterback. No help on the outside by the back. Charlie Brewer had no idea that pressure was coming. And Georgia takes over on the Baylor side of the 50-yard line.
We talked about before. I don't like the decision. It's a defensive game. You expect it to be a defensive game.
The field
you're
position.
Playing one of the field position. You know you're playing one of the best defenses in the country. There's a long way to go. And now you've given momentum perhaps back to Georgia. Here's Kenny McIntosh, the ball carrier. He gets 8 on first down for the Bulldogs. Huge play by Ojulari. Brother BJ played at Michigan.
He kind of came alive in our game last year here. Had a nice game. Was hurt most of the season. Was able to play towards the end of the year and maybe had his finest game against Texas in the Sugar Bowl a year ago. Second and short. I mean, this is a good chance maybe to go play action and take another shot at Pickens if they get him isolated.
It's McIntosh bouncing outside. And he's run down by Woods, who just came in for Chris Miller. It's a first down for Georgia inside the 30.
Watch Jamari Sawyer, the starting right tackle, one of the new starters, does a nice job. And he's blocking on Lynch, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Does a nice job of manhandling him. And McIntosh cuts off his block.
From off the play fake. Throws far sideline. Nice coverage by Jamison Houston on George Pickens. If you're just joining us, at 11 catches for 165 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
A lot of 2 tight ends for Georgia. I call that 12 personnel. 1 back, 2 tight ends.
And a nice play. Kenny McIntosh dumped by Jordan Williams behind the line of scrimmage. So the Baylor defense, after they went for it near midfield, trying to stop, force a field goal attempt by Georgia.
Good quick read by Jordan Williams. He slipped inside the block. Charlie Warner, the tight end, was supposed to pick him up, but it was such a quick read by Jordan Williams. He didn't get a piece of him. And a negative yardage play on second down. Big for the Baylor defense.
Third down and 13. 8.5 to go, third quarter.
Again, Pickens out here, wide to the wide side.
From near side, caught. Lunging for the line to gain is Simmons. I think he was out as he was lunging at the 19. And it looks like the field goal unit is coming out. Great look from a camera in the yard marker.
And that's a perfect throw, too. I mean, there is grabbing and pushing, and that ball has to be thrown to the outside of the receiver, but not out of bounds. That was a perfect placed ball by Jake Fromm.
Blankenship, it's a fake. It's the holder, Jake Camarda, with a first down.
And if he doesn't stumble, it might be a touchdown. Eli Wolf with the lead block. Eli Wolf is the protector on the other side. He becomes the lead blocker. It's perfectly executed. Easily gets the first down. And it could have been a touchdown.
Jake Camarda, the punter and holder, delights the Georgia sideline. So the offense still out there. There's Amir White, powers his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
again, the two tight ends, Werner and Eli Wolf. Watch these two guys here, 17 and 89. Get out on the perimeter and get key blocks. And then the power of Zamir White takes care of the unblocked defender as he runs right through. JT Woods, the safety.
And that decision to go for it near midfield backfires for Baylor. Georgia takes advantage of the short field. Seems to have momentum back up by 19.
Here's another look at the touchdown, just kind of the sweep play that's been effective. Good blocking on the edge by the tight end. Zamir White powers it in. A new offensive line coach, Matt Luke, former head coach at Ole Miss, loves it and is fired up. And one of the things Kirby told us is he's so energetic, and he's a guy who cheers not only for the offensive line, cheers for the defense, everybody. Brought a lot of energy and passion to practice.
Yeah, it's a great addition. We wish Sam Pittman well as the head coach at Arkansas, but his replacement, Matt Luke, will certainly do a great job for Georgia, both with the line and in recruiting. Jermichael Hasty straight ahead. Monty Rice and Devontae Wyatt made the tackle. 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Can Baylor find a way to get a spark again? They had it briefly, getting stopped on fourth down on the play by Azeez Ojulari. Seemed to, at least for the moment, take the wind out of the sails of the Bears. Brewer sidesteps the rush. He's on target. Out across the 45 goes Tyquan Thornton with a first down. And Charlie Brewer's older brother Michael played quarterback both at Texas Tech and Virginia Tech. Screen, Treston Ebner, lots of blockers inside the Georgia 33-yard line. Now a flag thrown by the 40-yard line. There are two flags down back behind the end of the play. To the conversation.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 32. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 55. Both fouls will be enforced. It will end up at the 31-yard line. First down.
So the face mask was on Monty Rice. Which you can see it's not on the ball carrier. It's on Denzel Mims right there. That's the face mask penalty on Monty Rice.
That was 55's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
There's Xavier Newman blocking outside the 50-yard line.
It'll be late in the play.
Well, it must be because he's way behind the play.
Here it comes.
In the back of Lewis Seen.
You know, if he gets another one of those unsportsmanlike, he's out of the football game.
Big hole outside for Ebner again. Missed tackle. He absorbs the hit and gets bounced out of bounds by DJ Daniel. It was Lewis Seen who missed the tackle closer to the line of scrimmage, and Baylor's on the move again with a 17-yard run.
Nice job by the left tackle. Connor Galvin turning his man out, and Monty Rice, who usually takes the right angle, he stepped inside and got blocked by the center, was not able to scrape over to make the tackle. You don't see that mistake made by Monty Rice too often, but that enabled that to be a big run.
5.5 to go, third quarter. Single coverage and a flag down. Mark Webb was tangled up with Chris Platt, the intended receiver, in the end zone.
Yeah, Charlie Brewer did a nice job of giving his receiver a chance. Now I'll tell you what, here's what's happening in the second half, different than the first half. Georgia always puts their hands on you, their defense. They always push and grab.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic. First down.
The difference in the second half is Baylor is fighting back. They're pushing and grabbing too. Now, there's the hold with the left arm. You could have, it could have gone either way, right? You could have said either one of those guys was holding the other guy's arm.
Yeah. Both sides have had reason to be a little agitated tonight. The officiating, Ebner on 1st and goal. Ducks down. He's down inside the 1, short of the end zone. You know, Matt Rule would feel a lot better if his team can punch it in here and respond quickly after his decision to go for it on 4th and 4 didn't work out.
Oh, Brewer, they lost the ball.
Trouble.
Lost the ball.
Out.
They tried to go fast, Sean, to try to keep the same personnel on the field for Georgia, and they did not get a clean center quarterback exchange, and they are very lucky that they got the ball back. I don't think Charlie Brewer ever had the football.
It looked like it was going to be a design run for him, and I just wonder about that. I mean, I know he's a tough runner. He reminded the Georgia coaches, the Texas quarterback Sam Ehlinger, who's a tough runner. But
that can be a little tricky, especially on the goal line.
Brewer has been an effective runner near the goal line. 10 rushing touchdowns this year. He follows Hasty and scores.
Second effort got him in.
That's reminiscent of Sam Ehlinger from a year ago throughout the Texas quarterback's career. He is a tough young man, Charlie Brewer, out of Lake Travis High School in Austin, Texas.
This is just quarterback power. You're going to lead with the tight end. The back is the lead. You're pulling the backside guard, Khalil Keith. He wasn't in initially on the jump, but the second effort when he hit the ground, he goes into the end zone. Tough, hard-nosed run by Charlie Brewer.
So Jake Fromm, in what might be his last game at Georgia's, had a good night. 16 for 23 for 207 and 2 touchdowns. Be interesting to see what his decision is. He said he hasn't really thought about it at all, focused on this game. That's for after the game. But it'll be an interesting decision. Loves college football.
Yep.
And you just wonder, if he thinks it doesn't look like his stock dipped much this year because Tom McShay still has him as the 4th-ranked quarterback and maybe a first-round pick.
I think if he feels pretty confident that he's going to be a first-round pick, that's going to weigh pretty heavily on his decision.
Pressured immediately, and for one of the few times tonight, James Lockhart was there first, and down goes Fromm with help from James Lynch back at the 20-yard line.
Here's Lockhart right here. Watch the outside set by Cade Mays. He gets too wide on his set, and Lockhart goes right inside him immediately, and then Lynch is working on a tight end, Eli Wolf. That's a mismatch for Lynch, but it was poor footwork by Cade Mays that let Lockhart in to start the play.
First sack of the night for Baylor. That's their school record, 44th of the season. Georgia doesn't give up many. Fromm in trouble again. Bravion Roy leading the way that time for the Baylor Bears.
Georgia tried to throw quick. They thought they cut a free access throw to Pickens. He showed like he was coming off, but it was tighter coverage. Fromm didn't like what he had there. He wanted to throw to Pickens right now. Didn't like it. And by that time, nothing there in Bravion Roy.
Well, that goes as a sack, even though Fromm started to run, so no sacks all night long, then 2 in as many plays.
Yeah.
3rd down and 17 with 2:45 to go in the 3rd.
They've run a lot of draws when they've had 3rd and extra long so far against this Baylor defense.
They send Kenny McIntosh out. Here's Matt Landers, and he gets stood up and driven down by Henry Black and Jordan Williams. And the Bears fans fired up as Baylor plays in its 2nd Sugar Bowl. First one way back in 1957. This is one of the big games in Baylor history. Trying to win 12 games in a season for the first time. Here's Jake Camarda on the punt. Braylon Arnold standing back at the Baylor 37-yard line.
Big time.
Yeah, another good kick. He's had a good night, including the run on the fake field goal for a first down. Long and not returnable along the far sideline. Officials are going to mark it appears at the 35. There is a flag down.
Sideline warning on Georgia. They're first of the game. There's no yardage assessed. First down.
Well, guys, something to keep your eye on here in the late going in this game is the fatigue factor on this Georgia defense. Remember, they're without a substantial amount of guys, and they usually rotate people. They're used to doing that, but guys who are in there playing are being asked to play more plays than they normally would. Kirby Smart said they even did more conditioning in the practices leading up to this bowl game to be ready for this moment, but keep your eye on that Georgia defense. They look like they're getting a little bit tired.
He thought they were a little fatigued in the first half. Thought Baylor was as well. But the longer this game goes on, the way they like to sub, the more
Georgia blitzes. They have a good call against it. Treston Ebner out to the 44. They'll mark him at the 43-yard line, a gain of 8. Mark Webb and Richard LeCount made the tackle.
With some really nice adjustments offensively for Baylor. They had 97 yards in the first half of offense. Didn't look like they could amount anything. No explosive plays.
Jeff Nixon calling the plays, and that time Monty Rice says enough of that. He drops Jamichael Hasty back inside the 40.
Perfectly timed his pressure. He's right here. He doesn't show blitz until the last minute. Comes right through that gap, and the quickness gets right to Hasty.
Unblocked. Made it relatively easy for the junior out of Huntsville, Alabama, second team all-conference this year. Here's third down, nearly 6.
Mims in the boundary right here.
Charlie Brewer hit as he throws, and it is caught. Where are they going to mark it? R.J. Snead, that's right in front of the Baylor sideline and crowd. They groaned. They thought Snead had passed the line to make. Looks like he's a foot short. And it looks like Matt Rule's going to go for it on fourth down again. Georgia sub still running on defense, and they have to wait because Baylor sub to give Georgia a chance to substitute. Matt Rule down to one timeout
Previous
left.
plays under further review. The ruling on the field was that the runner was short to the line of game.
Tom Fiedler conducting the replay booth tonight. We'll take a look at this one.
Well, Charlie Brewer does a nice job getting rid of the football as the pocket is collapsing around him. And he was hit immediately after the catch by DJ Daniel.
Well, there.
What is his knee down when he makes the catch?
Well, let's bring in Matt Austin, who last year was still officiating as a Southeastern Conference official and worked one of the 2 national semifinal games, the game between Notre Dame and Clemson. All right.
After further review, the receiver did make the line to gain past the 45-yard line. It'll be first down. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 42 seconds. 4-2. Thank you.
And now Matt Rule doesn't have to make another tough decision whether to go for it. It looked like he was going to send the offense back out there to go for it on 4th and inches. Now it's a new set of downs. Much different Baylor team offensively here in the third quarter than what we saw in the first half. Here comes another Georgia blitz. Brewer in retreat and throws incomplete. Arm going forward as Tay Crowder arrived.
Just the speed, Sean. And this is a screen. They're trying to set up a screen to Ebner. But Crowder gets on Brewer so quickly that they can't even get the screen pass. Watch the linemen. They're going to go set the screen for Ebner. And Charlie Brewer can't even get rid of the football. Now, Ebner was slowed getting out of the backfield by a Georgia defender as well. Tay Crowder is a guy who came to Georgia as a running back originally, was moved to linebacker. Has had some big games for this Georgia defense this season.
2nd and 10, half minute to go. Crowder came to bring pressure again. Brewer forced to retreat again. Finds Christoph Henley, who crosses midfield, goes down at the Georgia 48, 3 yards short of the line to make. Might be the last play of the third quarter.
A good play by Charlie Brewer. He kept the play alive. He got the completion. Even though they didn't get the first down, it's 3rd and manageable. And I think they're in 4-down territory again, possibly for Matt Rule, as we get ready to start the fourth quarter.
Baylor had 97 yards of offense in the first half. They had 154 in the third quarter. They're back in the game. as we head to the fourth quarter of the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Seen this before. Right at the end of the quarter, the Baylor team came over to talk to the coaches for a minute. And I don't know if Matt Rule sent them down there, but they went down to the student section, almost as if they were imploring them to create a little mayhem, and came to the near sideline where there are more Baylor fans behind their bench. And the Georgia said, "Okay, you can do that. We're going to put on a little light show." Between the third and fourth quarter. Great atmosphere. It's not a sellout crowd, but they're fully engaged now, and they're watching what's turned out to be an entertaining game. Here's 3rd and 3 for Baylor. First play of the fourth quarter, twice down by 19. Trailing now 26-14. They're at the Georgia 48. Perhaps in 4-down territory. Charlie Brewer's pass batted up in the air and incomplete. They continue to bring rushers from deep at Brewer. For the most part, it's been effective. Malik Herring batted it out of the air.
Yeah, he was looking for Christoph Henley, his tight end in the middle of the field. And Malik Herring gets that left hand on the football and knocks it away. And this time, rather than go for it on 4th down and 3, Matt Rule's deciding to punt and try to play field position.
Or do you have a fake punt?
You could.
In your arsenal. We saw Georgia execute a fake field goal effectively.
Georgia looks like they're in a safe position.
Both punters have been very good tonight. Isaac Power. It's batted down at the 1-yard line.
Perfect.
Mark Milton with excellent work. And a perfect punt by Isaac Power.
It just matters where the ball is. Milton, the first guy, gets there, knocks it back. It hasn't crossed. Excellent work. Milton was the first guy. J.T. Woods the second guy to knock it out. You can't do it any better. Now you count on this rugged Baylor defense that's been kind of the strength of your team all season to get a 3-and-out deep in Georgia territory.
Big special teams played by Baylor. As we said, they make a lot of them. Very well coached on special teams by Mike Saravo, who's been with Matt Rule back to Temple. When they turned the Temple program around, they've done the same thing here at Baylor in 3 years.
Don't be surprised to see a deep play action shot on 1st down.
And it is a play fake from almost from the back line of the end zone. A little too long for George Pickens.
You know, most people think when you're that far back, you got to just get the ball out. You run the football. A lot of times it's good to take a shot like that on 1st down.
Well, again, I think one of the big stories of the night, the fine offensive line play by Georgia tonight without their 2 starting tackles. Both of them are getting ready for the NFL. This line patched together by Kirby Smart. The new offensive line coach, Matt Luke's, done very well against one of the best sack teams in the country. The Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year up there is number 93, James Lynch. Zamir White within 3 of a 1st down, wrestled down by Chris Miller back in the game after he left for a while earlier.
So unusual to see 3 defensive linemen all in a 2-point stance on a 3rd down play.
From out of the end zone, far sideline, wide open, Tyler Simmons, big play for Georgia, out across the 30-yard line.
Yeah, not exactly sure what the coverage. There was double coverage on George Pickens on the short side, but a little bit of a miscommunication on the wide side of the field in terms of who was going to cover the deep third. The corner went deep. There was no underneath defender, and an easy throw and catch and a read by Jake Fromm.
Swift has 24 catches on the year. He's their 4th leading receiver on the team. Kenny McIntosh, the running back now. From fake to him. Pickens, nifty moves after the catch.
Wow, what
and
effort.
lunges forward for what looks to be a 1st down.
Excellent work after the catch. It's just a short route. He attacks the leverage of the defender. Attacks that outside shoulder. Jake Fromm gets him the ball on time. And then you just see the toughness and the strength working for extra yardage.
You mentioned Baylor had to do a much better job with Pickens than they have. That's his 1st catch of the 2nd half. Previous play, by the way, Pickens with that catch is 12th of the game, ties the Georgia record for most catches in any bowl game. This is their 56th bowl game in school history. Hines Ward had 12 in the 1998 Outback Bowl against Wisconsin. 33-6 Georgia win.
I think he's going to break it before the night's done.
James Lynch didn't get anywhere near Fromm. He throws on the move, and it is dropped in the end zone by Demetrius Robertson. Tough to tell from here if it was deflected by the defender, Graylin Arnold.
Well, because Jake Fromm was moving in the pocket and throwing back to his left, the ball kind of got outside. If that ball is thrown where he can continue to run to it, it's an easy catch. Should have been a catch, was not a catch, but it was a little bit harder because Jake Fromm was rolling to his right and throwing back to the left.
That looks like a lot of the year for Georgia.
Yep.
You know, Kirby Smart said Fromm's completion percentage, which is down about 7% from last year, wouldn't be much different this year had they not dropped so many balls. Fromm, finally, James Lynch introduces himself. Sack back at the 48-yard line.
Well, he just overpowered Mays right here, the left tackle. Now Kinley, the left guard, is there to help, but doesn't really do a good job helping his left tackle. And Lynch just power bull rush that time on his way to the quarterback, forcing the punt. That could have been a touchdown on second down. They get a sack on third down, and now Baylor will get the football back.
Third down and 12. They rush 5 to the Bulldogs. Brewer, nice job to dance around it. He has a long way to run, and he's not going to get there. But a flag thrown along the near sideline.
He definitely got hit in the white. I mean, Charlie Brewer was not going to pick up the first down. It was great pursuit by Nolan Smith and Trayvon Walker, a pair of freshmen, highly regarded freshmen. And Walker really put a lick on Charlie Brewer, who is still down on the field. Remember, Charlie Brewer, wait for the call.
Enter the play. Personal foul, late hit on the defense. Number 44, 15-yard penalty be added on the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
And remember, Charlie Brewer came out of the Big 12 championship game with a head injury. 2 weeks before that, he got hit in the head against Texas also. Here's the end of the play. Does a nice job to get outside the pocket. He's not going to get the first down. And there's the hit. It draws the penalty on Trayvon Walker. And again, it's the back of his head hitting the turf that may be the issue for Charlie Brewer at the end of that play.
And Matt Rule was asked after the game about Brewer going back into that Big 12 title game for a few plays. He said, I'm at field level. It happened on the other side. I didn't see that he was wobbly getting up. Other people, their spotters in the press box, were supposed to tell us that sort of thing. He said, I would never jeopardize the health of one of our players. There's been times I took players out of the game because I didn't like the way they were talking to me on the sideline, had them checked out. So he felt bad that Brewer went back into that game. It was Mike DeFee who finally said, you need to go out for more testing. But the number Matt Rule said to us the other day is 3.
Yeah.
3 concussions for Brewer. As I said earlier, we asked Charlie the other day, are you concerned? He said no. I'd be concerned.
Yeah. Well, and I bet his mom and dad are concerned.
Gary Bohannon is warming up. And will be coming into the game almost certainly when we come back.
So we have Gary Bohannon, who was the guy, the second quarterback who came in that Big 12 championship game as well.
He led Baylor to a couple of scores. His stats weren't great. He was playing on an injured knee. He's a good runner. He lofted that one over the head of Jamichael Hasty, and there's a flag down back behind the line of scrimmage.
When we saw Bohannon in the Big 12 championship game, he had a little bit of a knee injury.
Offense, number 76.
Had a little bit of a knee from the Kansas game, so he wasn't completely as effective as he could be because of that. And then we also saw Jacob Zeno, their third team quarterback, who was the scout team quarterback all during the week. And he came in and made a couple nice throws in the fourth quarter, and then in overtime he just couldn't finish the deal.
Jacob Zeno, a true freshman, had played in only one game all year, thrown into it at the end, and you saw only 2 completions. But both were huge gainers, and he demonstrated a rocket arm. He was a very highly recruited player out of high school in San Antonio. NFL caliber arm for sure.
Yeah, one was, I think, an 81-yard touchdown. The other one was a 78-yard completion that set up a field goal.
Baylor fans down below us cheering for Charlie Brewer as they put him on the golf cart to take him off the field. Jamichael Hasty stacked up and driven back, led by Tay Crowder.
Well, now the other thing that Bohannon has to kind of have, and here comes Zeno, they're going to play both these guys, I think. I don't think this is a permanent switch. I think they're going to kind of go back and forth, knowing that Zeno maybe has a little better arm, a little livelier arm, and Bohannon gives him a little bit more of a dual threat. I think we'll see both of them here the rest of the time for Baylor.
Zeno on target. R.J. Sneed didn't quite get to the line to make, about a yard short into Georgia territory, just inside the 48. Stopped by Lewis Seen. 3rd and 1, almost certainly 4-down territory. Hasty, 1st down with a yard to spare to the Georgia 46, but we're more than midway through the 4th quarter now. Baylor still down by 12.
And whoever is in at quarterback, there has to be a little bit of a speed up on the clock internally, because you've got to score twice.
6'1", 204, freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, John Jay High School, Jacob Zeno. Hasty in trouble and swung down by Malik Herring for a loss of 3.
Still trying to run the football. Herring is going to make a quick inside move, beats the left guard, Khalil Keith. Again, the quickness of this Georgia D. Their defensive linemen, all very athletic, all very quick, and they rotate him to try to keep him as fresh as possible. But I bet this is the most snaps Herring's played in a game in quite a while.
Still stuffing the run as the Bulldogs have all year long. Zeno tucked it down, didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Herring there again with Devontae Wyatt.
Excellent coverage downfield. It was only a 3-man route. Only 3 guys released into the route for Baylor. They were all blanketed downfield with a free safety helping over the top. Nowhere to go with the football for Zeno. Right now he's got to think part of the yardage back. Doesn't have to get it all back on this one throw. The biggest thing, you just can't hold the football long, because your O-line has had their issues blocking this Georgia front when it comes to pass rush.
Zeno playing in just his 3rd game of the year. They've been the last 3 games played by Baylor. Checks it down. Jamichael Hasty slips down. Gained about a yard and a half. 4th down, I would think, across midfield. Under 5.5 minutes to go. You have to go for it.
Yeah, because not only do you need 2 scores, you need 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's not a touchdown and a field goal to tie the football game or take the lead.
And the operation is slow, and I think that's one of the negatives of having an inexperienced freshman in the game right now. They rush 5. Zeno! Down he goes, back behind midfield. They blitz Nolan Smith, and they've timed up some blitzes very well tonight. Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, and the Georgia Bulldog defenders executing as Georgia takes over on downs.
Yeah, they had a couple blitzes. They're going to bring Nolan Smith. They're also going to bring a guy off the slot. They're very creative. They're very exotic on 3rd down. And they get to the quarterback, Zeno, for another sack.
Another 3.5 to go. And Georgia looks like it's comfortably on its way to victory now. We talked about Jake Fromm has the decision to make after this game about whether he's going to go into the draft after this is junior season. I did communicate again with Todd McShay today. He said he has Jake as a late 1st-round pick. But he said that when you talk to people, the grades are kind of all over the place for Jake Fromm. Sets up a screen to Kenny McIntosh. He loves college football. You know, the coaches told us he's not really a fan of NFL football. He watches college football. When they say, hey, did you see the throw Aaron Rodgers made the other day? He said, no, I didn't see it. He really watches it. But I think if he's a first-round pick, you're coming back next year, perhaps. We'll talk about it more when we come back. The music means Coyote. Matt Rule told us Zeno gets hit as he throws. Still got it off for Treston Ebner. Matt Rule told us since he was in high school, he's always wanted to come to the Sugar Bowl. He had never been here before this week. He grew up in New York City but moved to State College, Pennsylvania when he was in high school. Became a big Penn State fan and watched Penn State win one of the big games in school history January 1st of 1983 here in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia when a certain quarterback threw a long pass to Greg Garrity. And he said that play is still etched in his mind. It is for Vince Dooley, too. You saw
absolutely
the legendary coach before the game, and he said, I still remember you throwing that pass down the sideline. I still remember throwing that pass.
He said, what was that kid's name again? Garrity? I said, yeah, Greg Garrity. He said, he was a walk-on, wasn't he? He said, yeah, he was.
Matt Rule went on to play at Penn State as a walk-on for Joe Paterno. Zeno's throw incomplete. Looking for Jared Atkinson. Third down and 10. You said, of course, your team won the national championship in that victory over Georgia. First-round pick, you're an academic All-American. You won a lot of games. You said that Sugar Bowl, that was the highlight of your life, winning the national championship here.
Well, it was,
football.
Playing and winning a championship and all the work you put into it. And of course, we'll have another national championship decided in this same building on January 13th. And it's the ultimate, for a college football player. It's the highest achievement as a team player that I ever was a part of, and very, very special.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside the pocket. The pass crossed the line of scrimmage. Fourth down.
Boy, Malik Herring has really dialed up the pressure.
He has.
Number 10 here in the second half. Nolan Smith, some well-timed blitzes.
He's one of those guys, a little... as he has developed, he's going to be an NFL guy. They talked about Tyler Clark being the most right now NFL guy. Herring is a guy who is developing into that. He's got the kind of body and quickness that NFL teams like.
Zeno on 4th and 10, intercepted. Picked off by Richard LeCounte, his second of the night.
Kirby Smart's telling him, get down. Everybody's saying, get down. He said, I'm going to run over and see my peeps instead.
Kirby Smart wanted to celebrate with him, and once he went leaping over the bench, LeCounte was kind of out of range for the coach.
I'll tell you what, watching Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart, every single defensive play, how hard they coach. Every play they are coaching and instructing and giving hand signals. And now they get the fruits of victory at the end with that interception. Sure, Kirby has to be thrilled. Again, everybody was embarrassed last year the way they played or did not play. And that doesn't take anything away from Texas. And Texas played a really nice ball game. But Georgia was an outstanding football team a year ago and did not come here ready to play. Tonight, they came here ready to play. With whatever guys they had, whatever guys made the trip, these guys came ready to play, led by Jake Fromm, and it was an impressive performance.
Well, because we've been around it, you understand it. Now, because of the history of Georgia, but also the recent history of Kirby there. 13 wins 2 years ago, 11 last year. That'll be 12 this year. It's almost as if you don't make the playoff and perhaps even win the national championship, it's not good enough for a lot of people. And obviously that's exceptionally hard to do. But this probably ensures them a top 4 finish in the final poll.
Well, and the other thing it does, a win here allows this senior class to tie for the most wins in Georgia history with 44. And it also means Georgia under Kirby would be 8-4 against top 10 opponents. That's, winning a lot of big games against quality opponents. He has done a marvelous job in his time at Georgia, and they're not going anywhere. They're built to last by the way that they're recruiting.
And Fromm takes a knee. They get Kirby Smart with the bucket. And they do match the group from 2005 as the winningest senior class in Georgia history. That bunch went 44-9. This group will finish 44-12. Obviously, they play more games these days with the conference championship game and the playoff. Congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs, winners of the All-State Sugar Bowl 26-14. Here's Holly.
You smell like Gatorade, Coach.
At least could give me with water, you know.
How exciting was that for you to see these young men answer those questions about whether or not they would show up and compete tonight?
Well, it says so much about these kids' parents. You know, since we got to this bowl site, I've never had this happen in my whole career coaching. We didn't have one guy late to a meal. We didn't have one guy late to a bus. We didn't have one guy late to anything. And I knew right then, these kids wanted to play in this game.
You guys had a terrific defensive performance. Tell me about that last pick by Richard LeCounte. He jumps over the bench. You're trying to tell him to get down. He had other ideas.
No, he did a great job. We knew when 25 was in, he was a big gas route guy down the middle, and we had one of our coaches actually calling it out for him, saying 25 down the middle because we were in split safety, and Richard did a great job keying it and getting a pick.
A very special hug at the end of this game for DeAndre Swift. I saw that moment on the sideline. What has he meant to you in this program?
He's meant everything. He's a warrior. He's a competitor. He wanted to come on this trip. He wanted to play in this game. He wanted to be here for his teammates. He wanted to be here with them, and he meant so much to them. I mean, the impact he makes without the ball in his hand is immeasurable, and that's what he did a great job of.
We saw that tonight. And also the future is bright for this program. Your freshman, George Pickens, with a new record, tying a record in a bowl game for a Georgia Bulldog. How do you see the future and his bright future?
Well, George has got a lot of opportunities in front of him. He's a really good football player, and we're awful proud of George. And I tell you what, I've never been around a kid that loves practice more than George does.
Practice?
That's right, practice.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly. Appreciate it.
Jake Fromm standing by here. And Jake, one of the best quarterbacks. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing great. One of the best quarterbacks to play here at Georgia and put a uniform on. How proud were you tonight of the way you were able to connect and this offense was able to move the football?
Yeah, this is awesome. Praise God for the opportunity to come out here and play. I think our guys responded well. There was no doubt, from our guys who wanted to play. Our guys showed up. They played their hearts out, and to come out here and play 4 quarters, to come out here with a victory is a blessing.
I know nobody will give them the game ball, but I really believe your offensive line, this remade offensive line, had your back. How did they show up?
Cage, Jamari, Warren, those guys, they got put in a big role. They stepped up. They played great. So thankful for those guys and their hard work showing off and paying off.
I know that you have a decision to make in your future, but how does it help for you to see the bright future of some of these young receivers around you?
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are stepping up. They're making plays, and the best is ahead for them, no doubt.
If this is your last game as a Georgia Bulldog, what do you want people to remember about Jake Fromm?
Yeah, I want to represent Christ the best I can, and I hope I can reach and influence as many people as possible. I'm thankful to play here. This university is amazing, and to play here every single game, every single moment, it's been a blessing. I'm so thankful to be able to play here.
Thank you so much, Jake.
Well, that is his final game, and it is there for Charlie Warner, the tight end, getting a pat on the top of the head from Kirby Smart. Class act, Jake Fromm.
Oh, boy. Absolutely. Absolutely. We cheer for guys like that,
Stay tuned for the Ford post game after the game. Georgia wins 26-14. Stay tuned for SportsCenter in the Ford post-game trophy ceremony.